Okay, this is pre-calculus. Um. Yeah, we don't have a distance section here like we do in the support course. Okay, first place, how are you gonna be graded? It's gonna basically be quizzes and homework. You're gonna have homework every day. You're gonna have a quiz when you come in every day. It covers what you're supposed to have learned from your homework, okay? This isn't usually a big problem in a face-to-face class. Sometimes it is. It's very easy to find something on the internet that'll get the right answers in your homework. And not do it yourself, not go through the process. 90% of your grade is going to be based on tests. It'll be about 3 tests. Okay. If you don't do the homework, you're not going to learn what you need to learn past tests. Now, distance courses, I see too many examples that people make 100% in all their homework and make like 12% in their tests. What's that tell me? Either that somebody doesn't retain information for some reason or another, or because they never really did it. They never really learned it. Homework is where you learn to do the stuff. You learn a lot in class and set you up so that you should then be able to do the homework. Okay. But just make sure that you're actually doing the homework and doing it in all the detail that I specify. Okay, they're going to have a test. I'm going to show you some really good stuff here. And it's really pretty easy to learn. I'll expect you to learn it by Tuesday. You see what I mean? Because I'm going to spend most of the time on that. I'm not going to talk too much about the syllabus because almost half the class isn't here today. Now, you can always watch a video, but they won't do that. Okay. Some of them will, because I know some of them they will. But you can't count on people watching the video. Okay. And it might not be necessary. You might get everything you need from the text and the materials you have online. You have great materials. Okay. But for the first couple of weeks, most of the materials are going to come from what you do in class, and you might need to look at the videos. Okay. You've already read the Canvas instructions that tell you where to find the assignments page. And if you don't know where that is, go back to Canvas and make sure you do. Not that many people have emailed me. People are pretty good about signing up for the course. Quickly, over half the class signed up within the first couple of days after I sent the email on Monday. Okay, which gives me some hope. If you haven't signed up yet, well, it's been a kind of weird week with the weather. You might have distractions, but you need to get signed up into Open Math. I haven't checked it yet today. I didn't know until last night whether we were even going to have class today. I could see that decision going either way. My cars are like 20 feet from the road. Actually, the front of the car is like this far from the road. Okay. And because the snow plow likes to pile up piles of ice, one of the cars had to be pretty well dug out. Wasn't a big deal because it wasn't soft snow. You don't just, I don't even know where my snow shovel is. I haven't had to use it in 10 years. So I just use a regular shovel. And that can be tedious, even if you only got to clear out 15 feet. If you just got soft snow, you just keep moving nothing. But it was big chunks. It didn't take me a whole lot of time. I had to break up the chunks, but that wasn't too hard. Okay, well, if I had to do all that to get out, some people just aren't going to be able to get out. So we understand that. Okay. So again, I'm not going to talk too much about the syllabus. We'll go over that more next time. I expect you to read it. I expect you to do everything that the welcome announcement tells you to do. Okay. And read the syllabus. The assignments page will also tell you, read the syllabus. I think there's also a link to the syllabus on the assignments page for this course. How many people have seen the assignments page? Okay. Yep. A lot of you have. If you haven't, go to Canvas, do what it tells you, And then you don't even need to look at Canvas ever again in this course, because Canvas is a royal pain. Okay, you gotta log in, you gotta use two-factor authentication. There are good reasons for that. Canvas is set up to be extremely secure. I don't care if my stuff is secure or not. Your grades are secure, but they're on open math. Okay? I can't use the Canvas gradebook. It doesn't allow me to set it up the way it needs to be set up. So Canvas has its advantages and its disadvantages, but I don't use it except to get you started. Also, don't email me from Canvas. Email me from your regular PHCC email account. Now, if you do email me from Canvas, I'll get it. And I'll respond and I'll tell you next time you use your VCCS email, because I can't keep track of what Canvas does. I can't sort the emails. I can't look back and find your email, except to look at 10,000 emails. Okay? If it does have that ability, nobody's been able to tell me where to find it. Okay? Right now, I can't even find the icon that allows me to send you an email through Canvas. But I can easily send them through our SIS system, which is what I've been doing. Everybody gotten an email from me? Everybody been checking their email? Yeah, it's been a busy, strange couple of days, so maybe not. But be sure you do check your email. Okay, now that's pretty much all I'm going to say. We'll go over the syllabus next time. I'll expect you to have read it. And if you're not here, you should be watching this video and you should do what I've said. Okay, and many of you will. Okay, I can't count on everybody doing that, but I'm going to send an email emphasizing. All right, now we're actually going to start doing a little bit of math. So I urge you to have a dedicated notebook for this course. Most of you have a notebook open. There's blank paper in front of you on most of the tables. There is on every table. So if you want to use blank paper, you can. When you take quizzes, you're going to do it on that blank paper. So I can use the copier with it, because your torn edges and non-standard paper sizes mess up the copier. Okay, and sometimes I want to copy these. All right, well, enough said about that. We've already used up 17 minutes of class time. We're going to do something that's actually kind of neat. Okay. We're going to delay the onset of the need for a lot of algebra, because I find out at the beginning of class, people can't do elementary algebra. Too many people can't do elementary algebra. Some people are just excellent at it. Okay, much less intermediate algebra, much less the stuff you need to do the math, the open math assignments that you're going to have. Okay, so we're going to learn about functions, but we're not going to use any numbers, and we're not going to use any algebra until we need it. And we'll develop the algebra over the next couple of weeks as we do that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. All right. So first thing I'm going to ask you to do, it's a tough one. I want you to put 2 dots in your paper, one near the right edge and one near the left. Just little dots. So I'm going to do a put through your paper. Okay. Everybody think they do that all right? Because your paper looks something like this. Anybody think it doesn't look like that? Okay. Now, can you draw a straight line through those dots? Now, to draw a straight line, you kind of want to hit both dots. That's kind of tough to do. Just a little advice: if you want to hit this dot, start here where you can't help but hit this dot, and keep your eye on that dot. Your eye will guide you to go through that dot. At least you're probably going to get closer than you would have otherwise. Okay. Okay, now, if you've done this and haven't done it on a blank sheet of paper, I want you to do it again. Turn the page to a blank sheet of paper, so you go all the way across instead of going like from here to here. Okay, I see a couple of papers where these points are too close together. I want them to go all the way across your paper. Okay, so just quickly do that. Just take a second. I'll come around, and look over your shoulders here in a few minutes, but right now, I trust you. All right? 2 points and a line in between. And do that quickly. When I ask you to do something in class, we want to do it quickly. We want to do it right, but we want to do it quickly. So we don't take a lot of time waiting for people to do what we're asked to do. And I'll emphasize how that works later. A lot of times I'll ask somebody, I'll write something on the board and ask somebody to do 3 or 4 problems. They'll copy all 4 problems down before they start the first one. Okay, no, write the first one down, do it. Then write the second one down, do it. Make sense? Do something. Don't just copy what's on the board. All right. You'll learn more. You learn better that way. Okay, now what I want you to do, and I'll show you how I do it. If I want to do it halfway accurately, I'm going to put a finger at each point, and I'm going to move my fingers together more or less at the same speed. I'm going to get a point that's pretty close to halfway between. That's too far this way because one of my fingers ran into my chalk. So it isn't particularly well done. My intervals aren't quite equal, but that's okay. You get the idea. Well, I'm just close to halfway. Okay. Now I'm just going to take a quick walk around the class and just see how people are doing. So far, everybody's doing better than I did. Okay, let's see. Oh, man. Okay, very good. Oh, man. 100%. And everything I'm telling you here, you have to be able to do 100%. So far, you've got 2 dots and a dot halfway between, right? Now, I want you to label the dot on the left target. Above that point, write the word target with an arrow down to the point. That word is target. I wrote it pretty small. You might not be able to see it, but that word is target. Okay. So this point is our target. And our rule is whatever point is closest to the target, we're going to make a point twice as close to the target. Okay. Which means that I'm going to make a point here that's twice as close to the target as this one, which means I'm going to do the same thing with these 2 points that I did before. So I'm going to have a point like here. Okay. Okay. Now, I want you to do that again. Okay, now this point is a lot more than twice as close as this one. So I only want to go twice as close. Okay. We're going toward the target point. It's okay to do what you did because that's important too, but we're trying to approach the target point. Okay. This is too close. So some of you are having a tendency to get too close, which is going to confound you a little bit. So make sure when it's halfway that you have 2 equal intervals there. So yeah, that looks good. Okay. Well, for the most part, that looks good, but very good. Okay. Now, be careful to go twice as close each time. And I might have misled you a little bit. I'm a little too close here. Okay, so you might have kind of copied what I have. Okay, and at whatever angle you're sitting, you might have seen it the way it wasn't intended, but the instruction is go halfway. Okay, so I'll go halfway again. Then I go halfway again. How many times can I go halfway? How many times can you go halfway? Well, see. How many times can you go halfway? How many times do you think I can go halfway? My chalk is a little wide. Okay, now I kind of gave you a challenge there, not being critical or anything, because what everybody did look pretty good. You didn't go as close as you could in most cases, okay? So you got really pretty close. But how many times can you do this on your paper? Okay, especially if you don't make this target point too big, make the target point real thin. Then you might be able to go a couple of extra steps. So I can go here. That's about halfway. Now the chalk, it's a little hard to tell exactly where the chalk is going to write, but I'm extremely talented with a piece of chalk. So just watch how well this turns out. Now you see I'm setting myself up for failure here. Okay, you might as well get used to that. That's a little too close. And now the chalk lines are getting a little too wide. My point's a little too wide. I can't really go any closer than that. But when I said go as close as you can, well, what you want to get used to in this course is you want to do everything you can. Don't stop because you're tired. Stop because you can't go any further. You're doing a problem, you get several steps. You might get to the point where, oh man, there's more steps. I can't get that. Try a little bit. And then make an intelligent decision. Okay, I spent 5 minutes trying to get this thing. I'm going to move on to something else and maybe come back and look at it and see if I get that last part. Okay, but be aggressive. Be aggressive as you approach that point and be aggressive as you do your homework. Not aggressive as in firebomb your homework or something, but aggressive as try to get everything done you can because you learn more that way and you learn more quickly. Again, though, don't beat your head for hours on something unless you got everything else done. Make intelligent decisions. Okay. Well, I think y'all did pretty well with that. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to draw the biggest square you can on the paper with the sides in this direction and this direction, horizontal and vertical, right? In other words, don't tilt the square up like this, okay? So just quickly draw the biggest square you can. I don't care if it's perfect, as long as it's okay. Okay, now if you're watching this video and you haven't stopped to do every step before I do it, you're not using it right, okay? If you're doing the video, if you missed class, do everything I'm telling people to do before you see me do it. Okay? Now, what we've done so far, everybody can get that. But now, if you're not drawing that square, you're not doing the right thing. Okay, people did a good job with this. Some people got so close to the edge of the paper that I couldn't even see the marks. Okay? Usually when we do this, we're going to leave a little bit of room for labeling around the edges. But right now, we're not labeling anything. So it might look something like this. It's what everybody has, more or less like this. Okay, some people got aggressive, and that's good. I told you to do that. You got aggressive with the edges of your paper. But everybody did an adequate square. Everybody did a good square. Okay, so what you have there is good. Okay, now. Your target this time is the left edge. You're starting at the right edge. In other words, we're doing kind of just what we did up here. We're going to go halfway from the right edge to the left edge. And we're going to make a line. And a lot of times I'll use a dotted line. You can make a solid or a dotted line. It doesn't matter since I haven't specified to do one or the other, but I'm going to use a dotted line. That's about halfway. Now looking at my screen, I see that I kind of blew it. The left half is bigger than the right half, but still it's close enough to half that we can pretty much tell. So now what I want you to do is go halfway to your target as many times as you can. Okay, now about half the class didn't get the idea of halfway. on this picture. Pretty much everybody got this one, okay? You know, this is halfway between here and here. This isn't halfway between here and here. This is more than halfway, right? Okay. So if we go halfway from here to here, where are we? Well, if I go halfway from here to here, I'm like here. That's about in the middle from here to here, isn't it? It's in the middle, halfway. That's what half means. So we would draw a vertical line. Okay. Now you don't want to get too meticulous when you do that vertical line. Just put your pen where you think's about halfway, try to go straight down and make a quick line. Okay. Now some of you are really quick. You have really good artistic ability. So every dot had a little floral arrangement next to it and some angels and devils like the old medieval. Okay, and that's impressive. And you did that quickly, but you probably don't even want to take the time to do something simple like that. Okay, just make a simple line halfway. Okay, make sure it's halfway. Got it? Because this is real important, real important. Okay, it's the foundation for everything we're doing today. Now halfway from here to here, where's that? Well, halfway from here to here, what's halfway? It's about here. I'll just do it up here. That's about halfway from here to here, isn't it? So now I'll just do a line, try to make it about halfway. They're getting closer. The intervals are getting smaller. You can only do this so many times before you don't have room to draw it in. So they did a really good job. Somebody makes 6 or 7 subdivisions. Okay, then halfway from here to here. It's not over here. It's not over here. It's about here. Now you see my lines get a little wobbly. It's not real great. Eventually I'm going to run out of artistic ability, which I don't have that much of. Okay, then halfway here. Then it's kind of hard to see where halfway, you can see where halfway is, but it's kind of hard to actually keep yourself halfway. I'm doing better than usual. I'm going to blow it here in a minute. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Now you're using a sharper point than I am. You might even be able to get 7 lines in. If you can get 8 in, I'm impressed. You get 7 in, I think that's pretty good. Okay. So there it is. Okay. There's a name for this. I call this your edge dividing toward the left edge. You're dividing this rectangle up by halving your distances. Halving means cutting in half, H-A-L-V-I-N-G. Halving your distances with each step. Okay. And you've got these lines. All right. Now, you're usually not going to have to make this many. Okay. But sometimes there are a couple of exercises where you will. Usually you only have to make about 4, maybe 5. So that's doable if you make your square big enough. Okay. Okay, so this is edge division. And we use vertical lines, so I'm going to call this vertical edge division or edge division with vertical lines. I'm just going to do a quick illustration. I'm going to say that's toward the left edge. What would I call this? Okay, I said this is what? I call this vertical edge division toward the low left edge. It tells me the direction my lines go, vertical. This is vertical, this is horizontal, okay? And it tells me toward what edge. Because I could do, this could be my target edge, right? Okay, or this could be my target edge, or this could be my target edge. There are more words I could put on this, but there's the idea. Okay. These lines keep getting closer and closer together because you're always going half of something that's smaller. Okay. All right, now. Okay, there's another important point. The most important point on a lot of rectangles is this one. That's a red dot. Okay. So the red dot is at the midpoint of the lower edge. It would be a little hard to read that. This is a little hard to write with. It will take a lot of extra time. It says there's a red dot at the midpoint of the lower edge. Here, the red dot is at the center of your square. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is draw a horizontal and vertical line through the red dot. Again, if you're watching the video, you should have done this. And if you haven't done it, stop the video and do it. Okay? Now, as I say, when we're in class, we slop these things down well enough that we can see what's going on, but we don't go to the point of being really precise and artistic. Because we've got to keep moving, because if we wait for everybody to take 5 minutes to draw a picture, we're not going to complete as much stuff. So we need you to move kind of quickly. Now, if you don't know how to do something, that's different. You know, then we fix it. But you know, kind of dive right in to the task. So this is very simple. We draw the horizontal and the vertical lines, right? Now, center line is the target. And we want to do a vertical edge division starting at the, I said top edge, and that wasn't very smart. First mistake I've made this year. Okay. At the right edge. And the left edge. So first thing is do a vertical edge division starting at the right edge. Can you do that? Now remember, the target isn't the left edge this time, it's the center line. Okay, so real simple. That's about halfway from the left edge to the center. Why do you go left edge to center? Because the center line is the target. Okay? Right here in black and white, but maybe you have trouble seeing it. Some people went to the wrong target. Some people use horizontal lines. So, you know, want to make sure that you're reading precisely and doing everything precisely. Okay? And then when I do edge divide, I mean, go as many steps as you can, if it doesn't say otherwise. Now, usually it'll say 3 or 4 steps or 2 or 3 steps or whatever. But this is 1 step. Then this. And this. And this. And I know better to try to fit another one in there. It would take me too long. Okay, so I did 4 subdivisions. Okay, always going halfway. Some people have a little trouble seeing halfway, you know, you can do this, see? Right there's halfway. From here to here, there's halfway. That's a little too close to this line, but still, you get the idea. And if you keep doing this, you get better at it. All right. Now, starting at the right edge and then starting at the left edge. Well, the target is still the center line. I didn't change that, did I? Okay, so target is still the center line. Starting at the left edge, halfway to the side, got a little too close to the left edge. Wasn't quite good. Should have been a little further to the right. Wasn't great. Okay, then I cut this one in half. And I cut this one in half. Cut this one in half. There it is. Okay. And then I could do the same thing with horizontal lines. And it's pretty obvious how that would do. Okay. Okay. So that's what we mean by edge divide and center divide. Now, I'm not going to write out all the words here because the words might be confusing. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to want you to be able to do. Incidentally, this thing doesn't have to be a square, it could be a rectangle. Okay, but we're going to do squares. I'm going to do one with the red dot here. And then I'm going to center divide it. With 3 lines between the edge and the center. Okay, so I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 lines inside the rectangle. Okay, got that? That's a vertical center division. Let's say 3 lines inside on each side. Okay. Of course, the vertical line is the first one you draw. You don't count that. Got that? Can you do that? I think so, from what I've seen. Okay, don't do it now. We don't have time. We've only got 10 minutes left. I'm going to show you where this is headed. Okay. And then horizontal division. I wrote that so sloppy, I don't know if you can read it. It says edge divide toward the lower edge. Means target is the lower edge. We're starting here. We go halfway. Then we go halfway. Then we go halfway. Okay. And there are 4 lines inside. Right? Got it? We're going to use the rule over 1, down 2. Now, a little more explicitly, we go left to right. And actually, if we're going to use this rule, we got to use 5 lines wide area. Okay? Now, don't walk in front of the camera. You come on in if you want. No. Okay. We start in the upper left. And we mark points. If I start upper left, that means I draw a point in the upper left. Then I go over 1, down 2. See what I mean? Over 1 line, down 2 lines. That puts me here. Okay. Then I go over 1, down 2. That puts me here. And then I go over 1. Down 2, and I told you too many lines here. Only 2 lines inside the thing. I think I know what I was doing by now, but okay. That's even easier, right? Okay. If I go over 1 and down 2, that puts me here. Okay. That's up to the red dot. Okay. Then I got to start going over 1 and up 2. But I'm going to say we just make it symmetric with the center. So from here, I've got to go over to here. From here, I go over to here. From here, I go over to here. Now, a little short in time, so I kind of shortcut that. I could say over to the red dot. Then it's over 1 up 2. So there it is, over 1. This line isn't there anymore. Over 1 up 2, over 1 up 2, over 1 up 2, over 1 up 2. Okay. Now, what kind of a shape am I getting out of this? Can everybody tell me what the shape is? Raise your hand if you think you know. Okay, well, we're out of time. I'm going to draw a smooth curve, meaning a curve without any wobbles in it, without any corners. Not straight lines from point to point like you might have been taught. That has its place when you do this video. Okay. You connect the points, and that's a parabola. This is the shape. of a squaring function. Any quadratic function will have a graph in this shape somewhere in the plane. Maybe it's upside down, maybe it's right side up. So, oh, I'm sorry.
Am I missing something?
It wouldn't hurt anything. Yeah, you're talking, but that's all right. You're not in this class, so we're not violating privacy law. No, it's fine. You just walk around the back, sit where you want.
This calculus 3.
It is,
Oh.
okay.
I might be
Okay.
missing Something.
I'm sorry, I have that reflex when somebody comes in and starts to walk. I scared the heck out of somebody last semester doing that. I'm not that scary. But I reacted kind of quickly. So I gotta learn not to do that anyhow. Okay. By subdivisions, no numbers, no nothing. This is there, whether there are numbers or not. Okay. That graph exists, whether there are numbers or not. Now we'll put numbers and symbols on it. Numbers are fairly easy. Symbols get a little more complicated. We're gonna do that over the next week or two. And there are two more graphs that we start with. Having done those two, there are two more that are going to be easy. Okay, and those are the functions you build almost all undergraduate mathematics on. Those pictures. Okay, you don't need numbers to construct them. All you have to do is know how to go halfway and follow the algorithm, which gets very easy to learn. So when you come in Tuesday, I'm going to give you a quiz asking you to do this, to do what I just did. Okay. And want everybody to get 100% on that. I want every point in the right place. I want a reasonably smooth curve. Is that too much? Now, a couple other things. You got to do the introduction to biopen math and stuff. That's pretty easy and pretty quick. Okay.